The day was shrouded in secrecy.
Thanks so much for joining us here in New York.
We took our seats and waited patiently to see what Google was going to unveil behind those curtains.
Just kidding. We knew about it months before. Even Google themselves leaked the phone out. But now...
Google, what are you doing? They never fail to disappoint. In fact, they always succeed to disappoint. What I'm trying to say is the encompassing thought process is that behind this entire event was underwhelming, disappointing. No one had anything to say about the Pixel 4. No one had anything interesting to report about this phone. And even Google did not have anything fancy going on. I mean, which you'd imagine if you tweet out a picture of the phone 4 months before its debut, no one cares because they already saw the damn thing. So throughout this whole event, they're like, so here's the Pixel 4. And to showcase a feature that no one is interested in anyways. Anyway, you got it. The Apple Sheep's ranting today. Let's begin. Okay, so first of all, there were a lot of stuff in this keynote that didn't need to be there. It was almost like it was a Nest keynote instead of a Google keynote because they ended up talking more about the Nest home system than their actual own products, and also how the Google Nest Hub is made from recycled water bottles. Very, very important, Google. And I feel like most of us would have liked to hear more about the hardware, not about how much you can save the environment with recycling water bottles. I mean, it's important too, but then it's like this is a Google keynote. They're supposed to talk about the Pixel hardware that's coming out. And also very, very disorganized. 1 second they're talking about the Google Assistant, another second they're talking about the Google Pixel products, next second they're talking about how they can recycle water bottles and the environment. It's just all over the place. They don't know what they're doing. You just came out and be like, yeah, that's the Pixel 4, that's the Nest Hub crap, and we got hardware made by Google, certified. Just very scatterbrained. This whole keynote was filled with a lot of fluff, just like any other Google keynote. And yeah, it was not fun. I watched it live, but it was very long. It didn't need to be that long. It was all over the place. But now let's try to focus on the actual hardware. First of all, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. They made AirPod clones. These are the Google Pixel Buds 2. So these look very, very similar to the concepts that we're getting on the AirPods Pro. It's almost like Google saw that and be like,
hey, we gotta get these Pixel Buds out before Apple does it.
And also, they're more expensive than the Apple AirPods. So something to keep in mind. Which of course they act like they were the first person to invent something like this, having no wire going across both the earbuds. Google, this was released 3 years ago with the original AirPods. They cost $180. They're not even ready yet. They don't launch till the spring of 2020. And they're probably gonna go up against Apple's own AirPods Pro that are probably coming out in the October keynote. And they have the exact same battery life as the first gen OG AirPods that came out 3 years ago. 5 hours per bud and 24 hours with the charging case. So Google was like, hey, we can do what Apple did, but except be $10 more expensive, and we just came out with it. There's not enough to review off of them. I mean, they would be a solid pair of earbuds, but considering that the Pixel Buds, the OG Pixel Buds did not sell well at all, this is pretty much going to be the same story. Now speaking of headphones, let's shift our topic a little bit here. The Pixel 4 no longer comes with the included headphones in the box. The USB-C headphones that they included with the Pixel 3, yeah, they ditched that as if we wouldn't notice it. And that's just a huge trend we've seen with the Pixel 4 this year, is that they're leaving out a bunch of stuff that they previously had. So the dual camera in front of the Pixel 3, that's gone. It's no longer there. And also the screen to body ratio going backwards a little bit because of that huge forehead on the top. And I just find it interesting that Google is the only company that continues to increase the bezels instead of trying to decrease them, like every other company out there. And also the display, they cut some corners there. The Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4 XL have a contrast ratio of 100,000 to 1, while the iPhone 10 in 2017 had a contrast ratio of 1 million to 1. And the iPhone 11 Pro Max and 11 Pro have a contrast ratio of 2 million is to 1. So yeah, again, not that it really matters all that much with the colors, but I'm just bringing up here, okay? But I am glad that they went with the 90Hz display, the smooth display this year. Now, that's something I'd like to see with my iPhone. I think that's a good feature. And if there's one thing that Google did right this year, it has to be the 90Hz display on the Pixel 4. I've used 90Hz displays, they're extremely smooth and very nice to look at. And yeah, if there's one thing I like about the Pixel 4, it has to be the 90Hz display. But this makes me concerned about the battery life on these things. So to give you a little bit of perspective, the Pixel 3 has a 2800 mAh battery. And the Pixel 4 XL has a 3600 mAh battery. And usually high refresh rate displays consume a lot of more battery than just, normal 60Hz displays. So yeah, I'm very concerned about the battery life, and also the fact that they didn't even bring up for a split second the battery lives on these things. That just makes me a little concerned about the end result, if the battery life is actually going to be solid. So yeah, that's something we have to look out for. And also the storage capacity on the Pixel 4, they give you only two options. The base storage is 64 gigabytes, which is fine for this standard, and I think it's completely adequate. But the max storage is only 128 gigs. Now a lot of people don't need that much storage, because I'm not going to complain, I don't need 128 gigs even on my phone. But some people like to store all the stuff on their phone locally. I'm not one of the people who does that, but I do know many people who like to store everything locally, be it pictures, documents, videos, whatever it may be. You've only got 128 gigabytes of max storage in the last few months of 2019. People who complain about the iPhone XS and XS Max and also the 11 Pro not having the 1 terabyte option, which I think is a little overkill. Yeah, the people who complain about that, where are you people? Complain about the Pixel 4, where is those people? And also they make it even worse, because I think this was one of the features that they really bragged about in the whole Pixel lineup. To the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 3, they always bragged about unlimited free, high capacity, high quality storage for free on Google Photos. However, this year they stopped giving that option to people. You can now only store pictures on a high resolution for unlimited quantity. If you want to preserve the full quality, you have to upgrade the plan, because that actually takes up the space on your Google Drive storage. So yeah, they decided to remove that feature also, and also restrict you at 128 gigs. They kind of have you in a corner right now. They don't want to give any more storage, there's no expandable storage, and they don't even give you the free unlimited photo storage on the cloud. Okay, now talking about the cameras, which is, a very highlighted Pixel feature. Many people like to bring up that the Pixel does take one of the best pictures in the market. But this year, to see a company that has openly come out and said on stage on the Pixel 2 keynote that,
oh, we can do everything every other manufacturer can do with their phones, we only asking their money.
To see a company come out and make such a bold claim that they only need one camera and they can focus on computational photography just with a single camera and software. To see a company like that come out 2 years after they said that and announce to the mass that, there are these camera sensors called telephoto lenses. They can actually be pretty nice to have on a phone. So this guy, who was the presenter, came out and said, you know what, telephoto lenses are great. Now we are adding a telephoto second lens to the Pixel 4. What happened to the whole computational photography, dual camera, no need stuff? Couldn't you have agreed on this when Apple did it with the iPhone 7? Instead, they decided to come out and said,
Dual camera, no need.
Just like there was a need for the notch last year. And Apple, with the iPhone 7 Plus, they added the telephoto lens for a reason. People don't like grainy images when they zoom in, okay? No one likes grainy images. That is part of the reason why there's a telephoto lens. Not solely for a fact that you can do portrait bokeh shots with your phone. You can do that with software. That's blurring the freaking background. But I don't think you can replicate, at least for now, an actual telephoto lens's zoom capable using just a digital zoom. The whole reason why other smartphone manufacturers added dual cameras is so that you can zoom in without losing any quality. And then Google comes out and says, oh, dual camera, no need. And then 2 years later, they agree with the point that, hey, maybe someone wants that telephoto camera. Maybe it's of some use. And then Pixel comes out and then acts like they're the only one who thought about this. Guys, oh my god, it's embarrassing. And the biggest problem is that most average consumers out there, not tech YouTubers or anyone else, have agreed that they would find much better use for an ultra-wide lens instead of a telephoto. So they didn't even keep that in mind. They just put a telephoto in there and said, yeah, we have a telephoto, now we have a dual camera on our phone. We can zoom in and that's very, very useful. What kind of logic is this? Apple and Samsung, biggest smartphone manufacturers out there, they got it. They know you don't do that, okay? They understand that ultra-wide lenses are the future. That's why Apple added it with the iPhone 11 Pro and even the iPhone 11 starting at $700. Oh, have we even talked about price yet? Man, I do not know where to go with this. And even Samsung knows this stuff, okay? They added the ultra-wide lens with the S10 back in January, and they also get it. They understand that the market is moving towards this ultra-wide trend. However, Google, 3 years after the telephoto was first put on a phone, after the iPhone 7 Plus, then they come out and then act like they are the one who invented this whole technology of a telephoto lens, and then it's like no matter of fact that 3 years from now they're gonna act as if they were the first one to put a wide-angle lens in a smartphone. And also, this camera is still, in the last few months of 2019, not able to record videos at 4K at 60 frames per second. Don't you got the 855 Snapdragon in there? Don't you got all that 6 gigs of RAM? Can't you still not be able to record 4K at 60 frames per video on this $800 at minimum smartphone that was released in the last few months of 2019? Why? I mean, why is that so hard? iPhones have been able to do this for 2 years now. It was announced with the iPhone 8 back in 2017, and still, till this day, Google doesn't allow you to do this. The iPhone 8 can do that. It's $450. And also the front-facing camera can even do 1080 at 60, which is again a problem. iPhones have been able to do this since the iPhone 10. I am shocked that they're still able to sell these things without including 4K at 60. Even though sub $500 phones have been able to do this for a long time now. OnePlus has been doing this for a while with the 6D. Samsung has been doing this since the S10 or even the S9 if you don't count the limit. And yet Pixel still hasn't caught up to this. And this is one reminder, very good example of that, is that Google doesn't care about video. You can tell that Samsung and Apple, they care about video and audio too. Anyone who reviewed the Pixel 3, they all told you that the microphone on that thing is trash. It doesn't sound good. And looking at the Pixel 4, it doesn't look like they improved that either. Which, can we talk about the specs now? Oh god, I do not know where to go with this. So yes, the rumors were true and Google shipped the Snapdragon 855, a 9-month-old CPU at this point, in the Pixel 4 and charging $800 for it, with 6 gigs of RAM. That's a good upgrade considering the last Pixel 3 had a hard time running more than 5 apps in the background. So yeah, it's decent that they at least stepped up with 6 gigs of RAM this time instead of just 4 gigs. Last year they were like,
Hey, Apple's doing it. They have 4 gigs of RAM on their phones. It shouldn't be a problem, Let's put 4 gigs on our phones.
they still didn't understand the whole optimization thing with Android and RAM management. Android is terrible at that kind of stuff and they didn't seem to understand that. They just put it in there because Apple did it. But this year they fixed that too. And also the displays are the same OLED displays. They're now shorter. They don't have the notch on top in the XL size mode. So now they have a big chin on the top and then a slightly thinner chin on the bottom and 2 completely different size bezels on the sides. So yeah, it's a very asymmetrical phone if you look at it from the front. And also the back of the phone, they copied the damn design of the iPhone 11. Now yes, I was very open about this. I still don't like that they did that weird looking camera look on the back of the iPhone 11 Pro. I still don't like that. I'm not defending that that's a good design in any way. I still think it looks weird, but I can think of one functional reason why Apple would have done that. You see, with the 3 cameras on the 11 Pro, Apple cannot afford to go ahead and put all 3 cameras on the same rail and have the picture look very different from all 3 cameras. Now let me explain a little bit better here. Because there are 3 cameras, if Apple puts it in a vertical arrangement, the main lens, which is on the top, and the ultra-wide lens, which is on the bottom, will have a significant gap in the middle of them. And that is not good for zooming in, because then there'll be a considerable shift in the angle that you're looking at the picture or the subject. So yeah, I could think of a reason why Apple did that design. They went ahead and put the 3rd camera in the middle of both the second telephoto and the main camera lens, is so that there's not considerable shift on the angles of the 3 cameras. However, Google, there was no reason for you to do this weird looking camera design on the back. So first off, there are no 3 cameras on the back of this phone. You could very easily just put the 2 cameras this way vertically and have it look way less like a stupid phone. However, the main reason that they did this is because iPhones have that design and Google has to follow, so you get the point. So there was literally no reason to put the camera lens and have the whole bit of glass covering up even the flash and the microphone and stuff. The only reason is that they need to copy an iPhone because that's what sells well, right? But of course, I'm not rooting against them in any way. I think it still looks weird. And of course, you can copy Apple however you want unless it's making the phone better. Unless in this case, it's not even making the phone better, it's just making it look bad. And also the fact that the marketing team is gonna get all cracked up that you copied an iPhone. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's all over. Now, I think this is one of the most highlighted features of the Pixel 4. And I'm talking about the radar sensors that are there on the front top chin of the phone that helps with the face unlock and the air gestures that they showed off. Now let me remind you and give you a little bit of a backstory here. The air gestures system was implemented 8 years ago on the Galaxy S4. Now granted, the S4 did not use the same radar technology as the Pixel 4, but it was the same concept. And Google came out in this keynote and said, oh, it's 2019. The exclusive feature with the Pixel 4 is that you can shove your hand over the phone and have it react to your action and change the song or turn off the alarm. It's a touch screen. Touch the phone. It's a touch screen. That's what it's for. This is a smartphone with a touch screen. Go and touch the display. It doesn't take that much time. You don't need to go ahead and wave your hand over the display and then wait for that to react, and then 90% of the time it doesn't even react. Like Mark has pointed out, it only works 10% of the time. And also, if this was a good technology, I wouldn't bring this up, but the radar sensors on these things are extremely expensive. Radar is a very different kind of technology, and there are a few problems with this, which I'll just get into in a second. But yeah, this technology is really expensive. And instead of trying to focus on some things that are more apparent to the end user, like better batteries, better displays, better screen to body ratios, they invested all that money on a feature that is literally in beta. It doesn't work 90% of the time. Now this radar sensor can be used in a lot of different places. So first off, the radar sensor can be used to unlock your phone with your face, which is good, okay, but I'm gonna get into something that is concerning me and many people here in India and some other countries, so I'll just get into that in a second, as I said. And also, it can detect when you're near the phone, so if you go ahead and sit down next to the phone, like Mark has pointed out, it'll automatically turn on, but it doesn't look like anything special because when you pick up the phone, that's when it turns on. And I think iPhones have had this feature for a long time, where if you just pick up the phone, it just turns on. And the feature is called Raise to Wake. It uses the accelerometer inside the phone, which is there from a long time ago. But yeah, I don't know, they used the radar sensor for this technology. And for this stuff to work, the radar sensor has to be on 24/7 when you have the phone in its locked stage. And also that might hurt the battery. Now another thing that I'm really concerned, and many people are, and this is the worst part of this whole phone in my mind, is that the Pixel 4 is not even coming to India at this point, okay? I'm not basing this on a long-term basis, but I'm just saying for now, Google is just not allowed to launch the Pixel 4 with the radar sensors in this region. So India and I think some other countries, though they accepted it a few days ago, and I think Tokyo, I think Japan is not allowed to have these phones on sale over there. So let me just get into a little bit of a detail with this now. So basically, radar sensors are a very high-tech piece of man-made technology. And the radar sensors are, for one, known to be a very harmful race to, human organs and our skin. And radar sensors are usually not very healthy for, for us to use. But I'm sure Google would have thought of that. But the problem is that here in India, the government does not allow us to have radar sensors for the masses. Radar is used in the aeroplanes for aeroplanes to connect with the airports and transfer information and, data of where the flight is. And if you're gonna have another radar sensor, there's risk of that radar signal intercepting the more important ones, more than just unlocking your phone and having hand gestures. There are more important things going on in the world. And not like it's gonna affect everything in a second, but I'm just, bringing up some of the things that could go wrong. And it is legally not allowed here in India. And yeah, I don't know how they were going with this, is because there's no way they're gonna get the Pixel 4 right now into India. I'm not sure if they're gonna release a version without the radar sensors in the coming future. But yeah, right now they can't sell the phone here. No one can use the phone here in India. And that is very confusing, And basically they could have done much better without this feature. Lower prices, better screen to body ratio. Overall, this is such an unnecessary feature that doesn't even work 90% of the time. So if you're waiting for me to address that, there you go. And every year it's hard for me to justify a device like this. It's because like it seems like they don't even put enough thought and time consuming progress and any thought processes that go on in their minds while designing these devices. Like what kind of software should we optimize for? What kind of hardware should we put in this and then make it run quick and fast and reliable? And that's something the Pixel lineup has been lacking in for years. And I just think this situation is just the beginning of all this stuff. Anyways guys, that's pretty much it I have for you today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this whole radar situation and what you think about the Pixel 4, the Google keynote, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments down below. That was my full on rant on the Google Pixel 4. Not reaction, not review, rant. On that, this is Apple Sheep and I will see you on the next one.